Hello everyone, this is a video by Istanbul Technical University School of Foreign Languages, and our today's grammar topic is first conditional. So what do we mean when we say first conditional? We mean first conditional with will, first conditional with unless, and we will also look at first conditional with when and as soon as. So let's start. First conditional using will. Here is a situation, yeah? Two women waiting at a bus stop looking at a map. So, how are we going to get to Lisa's house? By bus or by train? If we take the bus, it will be quicker. Let's take the bus then. So, if we take the bus, it will be quicker. This is the sentence in the first conditional. Otobüse binersek daha hızlı gideriz. So, will, you can say if in the first part of the sentence and present simple, and you can say will in the second part of the sentence. So, if means koşul, right? So, if eğer. Let's look at the rules. This is how we make sentences in the first conditional. So we usually start with the if clause, if cümlesi, if clause. We always use present simple in the first conditional. If plus present simple. Then comes the main clause, ana cümlesi. We use will plus verb, okay? We can also use may, might, or should instead of will. We can also use any modal verbs in the first conditional. Let's look at the examples. If people learn only English at school, other languages will die out. Eğer insanlar okulda sadece İngilizce öğrenirlerse diğer diller yok olacak. If people learn, if present simple, the present simple tense, learn, other languages will die out. Will plus verb. Use will in the main clause and use present simple plus if in the if clause. If you come to my house first, we can go together. Eğer ilk bana gelirsen beraber gidebiliriz. Can, right? We can go together. So we can also use modal verbs in the main clause in the first conditional, right? If he asks for your help, you should say yes. Yardımını isterse evet demelisin. Evet demen lazım. Should. This is a modal verb and you can also use it in the first conditional. Now look at these sentences. Look at the if clauses. We put commas after the if clause, okay? Put a comma here. When the if clause comes first at the beginning of the sentence, we put a comma after it, okay? Comma means virgül. Okay, we should use comma after the if clause. And don't remember that we don't use will in the if clause. We don't use will after if. When do we use first conditional? What for? We use first conditional to speak about real possibilities. Gerçek veya gerçeğe uygun olaylarda kullanırız first conditional'ı, koşul cümleleri. If they don't hurry, they'll miss the train. Right? So we're speaking about the present time. We are speaking about real possibilities in the present. Acele etmezlerse treni kaçıracaklar. We can also put the main clause first. If we do this, we don't need a comma. Look at this example. I might buy a car if I save enough money. Arabayı alabilirim param olursa. Yeteri kadar param olursa, right? I might buy a car. Might is a modal verb. So we can also use it like this. We can use if in the second part of the sentence. Okay, one more example. I will revise more if it helps me to pass the exam. Again, if comes in the second part of the sentence. We start with will and if comes in the second part of the sentence. So it is possible to make sentences in the first conditional like this. When you do this, you don't need a comma. Don't put a comma, okay? No commas. Okay, now, what does unless mean? Unless basically means if not. So we use unless to express this meaning, if not meaning. Unless we protect languages, they will become extinct. So we can use unless instead of if not. The meaning of the sentence is the following. If we don't protect languages, they will become extinct. Okay. Dilleri korumazsak onlar yok olacaklar. Unless we protect languages, they'll become extinct. So this is basically the meaning of unless. And please do remember that we don't use a negative structure in the unless clause. So please don't use any negative words in the words with the negative meaning in the unless clause. So we cannot say unless we don't protect. No. Unless we protect languages. Just because unless means if not. So it already has the negative meaning. So don't use any negative structures in this type of sentences. When and as soon as. We can also use these words in the first conditional. We can use them to replace if in the first conditional instead of if. Let's look at some examples. When they arrive, call me and I'll meet them. Onlar geldiklerinde beni ara, right? When they arrive, call me and I'll meet them. The sentence structure remains the same. When plus present simple, use present simple with when, and will plus verb in the second. When they arrive, call me and I'll meet them. So we use when instead of if here. Onlar geldiklerinde beni ara. Right? When they arrive, again, the sentence structure is the same. When plus present simple in the first clause and will plus verb in the second clause. As soon as they arrive, we'll start the meeting. Again, we can use as soon as instead of if in our conditional sentences. Onlar gelir gelmez. As soon as means gelir gelmez, okay? As soon as they arrive, I mean. Onlar gelir gelmez toplantı başlayacağız. Toplantıya gireceğiz. Like this. Okay, again, as soon as plus present simple in the first part of the sentence and will plus verb in the second, in the main clause, in the second part of the sentence. Let's do some practice now. I will show you two sentences and you should complete the second sentence so that it has a similar meaning to the first. The meanings should be similar between the two in these two sentences. So here's the first sentence. If you don't revise, you won't pass your exams. Right? We have the beginning of the sentence here. If you revise, and you should complete it. You can pause the video now and complete it on your own. Do it on your own. Now let me show you the answer. If you revise, you'll pass your exams. You'll pass your exams, like this. One more sentence for you to do. I won't go to the party if you don't go. We have the first part of the sentence here, and you should complete the second part of the sentence. I won't go to the party unless. What do you think? What comes next? Unless you go, right? Don't use a negative structure in the after unless. One more sentence. We'll go for coffee as soon as the class ends. The second sentence starts with when. Take time to think. When the class ends, we'll go for coffee. This is the correct answer. One more sentence, the last one. If I don't stop spending a lot of money, I'll go broke. Broke means having no money at all. The second sentence should start with unless. Take your time. Okay, let me show you the answer. Unless I stop spending a lot of money, I'll go broke. That's basically all what I wanted to explain you today about the first conditional. Thank you for your attention.